we're asked to find the derivative of this function. So when you're trying to take a derivative of functions, at first you were given functions that are usually pretty simple. Okay, when things start getting more complicated, then there's this rule called the chain rule that's always applying. And the chain rule is saying you take a derivative of the outermost function and then forget about it and take a derivative of the innermost function, and you multiply those two results. Okay, so let's say f of x is a function, and we can put a second function, g of x, inside it. Maybe we'll make a third one. Okay, you've got a function inside another function, right? We can do that and make some pretty crazy functions in mathematics. F could be sine of x, g could be the square root of x, and h could be I don't know, 1 over x. Right? You can put one into the other and make some pretty weird functions. If you're trying to take the derivative with respect to x, then the way you do it is you take a derivative of the outermost function, so the derivative of f, keep everything on the inside the same. Okay? And then you multiply it by the derivative of the next innermost function, so the derivative of g, but with everything inside g kept the same. And then we're down to the last derivative, the innermost function, the derivative of h of x. And you chain them together through multiplication. That's why we call it the chain rule. Okay, so this one's less complicated though. This one, if we're trying to find the derivative of y with respect to x, we can summarize that with y prime. And the derivative of cosine is negative sine. That's the derivative of the outermost function. And we're going to keep the innermost function the same. Okay, everything inside that original trig function is the same. So there's our derivative of cosine. Then, because of the chain rule, we need to take a derivative of the inside of this function, and that's square root of 3 times x. So this is a constant. So the 1 comes down and multiplies, and it gets reduced by 1 for the derivative of the innermost function. The derivative of just square root of 3x, if you wrote that off to the side, its derivative is going to be square root of 3, right? The derivative of this innermost function is square root of 3. And that's it. We've now taken the derivative using the chain rule. We just like to clean it up algebraically. There we go. So that's our derivative.